Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Just got back from voting. I'm in a very deep blue area, and I have to say the lines weren't very long. I'm gonna give you more info on that. I do want to give you our third update of the day on this big day, Election Day. We're more than halfway through Election Day, and we are beginning to get a pretty good sense of the electorate that's coming out to vote today. Now, if you've been following my earlier videos today, one of the key metrics that we're using to assess Democrat turnout is the minute-by-minute database of Florida's Election Day turnout. It's not that we're not taking the Florida results and applying them to other states because, as we're about to see, it's a bloodbath for the Democrats in Florida. Florida Republicans are absolutely crushing the Democrats in terms of the overall vote. But that wouldn't apply, for example, to Virginia per se. Instead, what we're doing is we're looking at the percentage of the vote that both the Republicans and the Democrats are making up on Election Day in Florida, and we're comparing it to how they performed in 2020 in the same state to see if we can discern a Democrat surge. Because we're most likely leading in the early vote in 6 of the 7 swing states, right? This election comes down to whether the Election Day turnout is red or blue. Because Democrats did not show up for Harris in the early vote, she needs Democrats to show up today and show up big. They simply did not come out in the early vote. They need to come out today. That, at least, it seems to me, is the only chance she has, given how well the Republicans did in early voting. And again, we did well in early voting largely because of the massive deficit in Democrat early voting as compared to 2020, when their early voting was through the roof. So with that said, right now, as we speak, as of the making of this video, or as in terms of the tweet I'm referring to here, as of 6.5 hours into voting, the Democrat trend line is tracking the Election Day voting of 2020, thus suggesting no surge for Election Day Democrat voters in Florida. In fact, right now, the margin for Republicans in Florida is slightly higher than it was in 2020. They're leading Election Day by a little over 20%. So this is very important because a lot of you may be hearing all kinds of anecdotes and unsubstantiated claims of vote surging in Democrat-heavy areas and so forth. And I'm here to tell you, gang, we don't know that because there is no hard data coming from those places. There's hard data only coming from more or less a handful of states: Florida, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. That's it. Okay? And so when we're looking at hard numbers, gang, real numbers, all right, I mean, there is no surge. It's not that the only data that we have, and I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through all 4 states for you. And I hope to show you again, it can change. I'm not saying it can't change between now and the end of Election Day. But right now, in terms of the hard data that we have, the Democrat vote today is relatively akin to what we saw on Election Day in 2020 in terms of Election Day vote. There's not that big of a difference. And given that we now have the early vote lead and they don't, that's a disaster. Because it does appear that the electorate today is rather red as it was back in 2020. Let's actually start by taking a look at Florida as a whole. I mean, the big story of the day today is going to be how the Democrats were absolutely massacred in Florida. Republicans are winning by over 10 points right now, gang. It's double-digit lead right now. I mean, it's crazy. We knew it would be bad. We didn't know that it was going to be this bad. Florida looks like they're going to be voting to the right of Texas. That's how crazy this is. They crossed the 1 million vote lead threshold this morning. They didn't even wait to the afternoon to cross the 1 million vote threshold. They did it this morning. So this is huge. Again, by comparison, just to put this in historical context, Trump beat Biden back in 2020 by 3.5 points. Florida was still considered a swing state. And so what we're seeing coming out of Florida right now is absolutely insane. As of the making of this video, it looks like Trump is going to win Florida by double digits, upwards of 11 or 12 points. Now, we've got some amazing data coming out of some of the other swing states that I was telling you about, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. But first, I got to tell you, gang, if you have not yet gotten into gold, you got to do that right now. With all of the uncertainty and insanity surrounding us and the world as a whole, there has simply never been a better time to secure your finances with the timeless value of gold and silver. And so that's why we have a wonderful friendship with the amazing company Goldco, because they're patriots just like us who want to help you and guide you into how to get into precious metals completely tax-free, penalty-free. In fact, if you click on that link below right now, you can get your very own absolutely free gold and silver kit. That's an amazing free resource and shows you step-by-step how to get into precious metals, even if your money's still in a retirement account like an IRA or a 401k. And just to show you how awesome the patriots at Goldco are, the best part is you may actually already qualify to get up to $10,000 in free silver. So, I mean, they're amazing. So what are you waiting for? Get in on the action by clicking on that link below right now and going to turleytalkslikesgold.com. Get your free gold and silver kit today. All right, now let's get some data from some of the other swing states here. We only have limited data, and that's coming from Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. So with Georgia, one major county to keep an eye on, a very, very deep blue county. We're talking 85% Democrat county is DeKalb County. So it's in the Atlanta metro area. Right now, as we speak, DeKalb is significantly below its 2022 election day totals. I do not have the totals for 2020, but I'm assuming, given that 2022 is a midterm year, 2020 would have been even larger than this. They're not even making midterm year totals here. They had a turnout back in 2022 of 87,000. Right now, as things stand, it looks like they're going to be 20,000 votes shy of that previous total. Again, I don't have 2020, but I'm assuming 2020 was even bigger, given that that was a presidential year. Also, if you go to DeKalb County's website, they actually have a marker that indicates how long you have to wait in line at the various polling stations. And we've been seeing this throughout the day. This is crazy. There is no wait. This has been consistent throughout the day. They're consistently showing in all their different precincts 0 minutes wait time. So this deep blue county, we have hard data. We have hard numbers coming and showing they're way down, but we also have the suggestive data. It shows that we're not seeing any big volume there. Now, you compare that to what, again, yes, anecdotally we're hearing, but I mean, we're seeing it on the video, these massive lines, particularly in rural areas. This is good stuff. This is really, really important. So again, that could change. We'll have to see where we stand at the end of the day. Remember, gang, all of this is qualified. This is where we are right now as we speak. This can change, but right now it doesn't look good for the Democrats in terms of turnout. Also keep in mind we've got Duval County. Now, Duval County's in Florida, all right? But Duval is a bellwether county for Georgia. Duval is in the northeast of Florida. But for decades, wherever Duval goes, that's where Georgia tends to go. Duval is generally Republican by a few points, just a couple of points. This is where Jacksonville is. Georgia generally votes Republican by a few points to the right of Duval, or they'll vote more to the right by a few points. Duval went for Biden in 2020 for the first time in a long time with a Democrat. Georgia went for Biden in 2020. So when all is said and done, Georgia tends to vote a couple of points to the right of Duval, but they do mirror each other and parallel each other pretty consistently. Right now, Trump is up in Duval by 3. It's not going to be much more than that. Duval, the margins are low there, but he is winning Duval by 3. He's been leading the entire time in the early vote, but it was thinner. It got down to about 1.5. He's now leading the election day vote. He's actually got a very solid lead election day vote. We're talking about, as the making of this video, an 11-point margin. So that means Trump should win Duval by at least 3, which means that Trump should win Georgia by around 5 if passed as prologue. Speaking of bellwethers and national bellwethers, Miami-Dade, no Republican presidential candidate has won Miami-Dade and lost the election. Right now, Trump is crushing it in Miami-Dade. Trump is winning Miami-Dade by 3. Now, keep in mind, Biden won Miami-Dade by 7 in 2020. And get this, Hillary won Miami-Dade by 30 back in 2016. So the fact that Trump is winning, outright winning Miami-Dade is astonishing here and bodes very well for the country at large, given its bellwether status. Let's go to Nevada. Now, Washoe, Nevada, the second most populous county in Nevada, they're just started posting their latest election day tally. This is early. It's early, but the Republicans are in the lead with 3,100 votes, while Democrats are pretty far behind with 2,300, and independents are clocking in at 2,400. Again, very early results. These results, they only come in sporadically. So this is 10 a.m. Nevada time results. But again, consistent with what we're seeing across the board where we have actual hard data. Throughout Nevada statewide, Republicans have increased their lead by 4,000. Remember, they went into Election Day with a 43,000 vote lead. They have now expanded that lead by 4,000 just by the gains made today on Election Day. So their firewall is now almost at 50,000. It's actually getting bigger. Let's go to Arizona. In Maricopa County, Republicans, they are still way in the lead over the Democrats. They're making up about 41% of the vote. Look at this. Democrats are down to 20%. 20%. The vote right now in Maricopa, right, where Phoenix is. He who wins Maricopa wins Arizona. The vote right now in Maricopa is 2-1 Republican. Independents are up as well, 38%. So we're going to have to wait to see how that plays out. But generally speaking, independents go the way of the momentum. They mirror the momentum. Now, Democrats should, again, a caveat here, they should begin to narrow the margin throughout the afternoon. As I understand it, Maricopa always starts off strong with Republicans, then it narrows, and because you see a Democrat surge, and then you see one last Republican surge. The difference, of course, this year is that Republicans have amassed a 200,000 early vote firewall ahead of the election day. So again, the bottom line here is based on the data that we now have. And we're talking hard data. We're not talking hearsay or wives' tales or apocryphal stories. Hard data. Democrats are not showing up in the numbers they need to. It's just that simple. That may change. We're still, many hours to go here. That may change. But it looks like Arizona and Georgia at this point, from what I'm seeing, are off the table for Kamala. Which means that tonight we are going to be looking solidly at the 3 Rust Belt states for which we do not have any information, hard data right now. We'll be getting that tonight. But we will be staring at those 3 Rust Belt states, only one of which will give Trump, only one of which is needed to give Trump the victory. So that's where we are right now. Again, as always, gang, all throughout this day, pray and vote.